Today, Governor Mike Braun signed an executive order calling for a closer look at the cost of therapy for kids with autism, specifically children on Medicaid.
13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker joins us to talk about that program and what the governor is now saying about it.
Well, we know that this session Republican lawmakers have talked about Medicaid growth in recent years being unsustainable, and something has got to give if the program is going to be preserved long term. That brings us to ABA therapy here in Indiana. That's a therapy for kids on the autism spectrum. 8,000 kids receive it here in Indiana, and it's projected to cost $645 million next year. That's 46 times what it cost just 9 years ago. Last month, the Family Social Services Administration, the agency that manages Medicaid in Indiana, announced a proposal to manage those costs by capping the hours a child can get ABA therapy. That stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. But Morgan Herron calls it a godsend for her 12-year-old daughter, Melody, who's on the autism spectrum and nonverbal.
We're able to help our kids, like I said, with daily life skills. Restroom, showering, brushing their teeth, eating, with a fork or spoon or drinking out of a cup.
This week, FSSA announced a proposal to control the cost of ABA therapy by capping the amount of weekly hours a child can receive it, depending on their diagnosis. Those hours would be between 30 and 38, but could be more if a doctor says it's necessary. The proposal would also include a 3-year cap for ABA services.
We're going to make sure that everything we've built to date tries to stay intact. I'm not making any guarantees beyond. I want to make sure that we get it under control and we can do it sustainably.
Wednesday, Governor Mike Braun signed an executive order calling for FSSA and the Department of Education to create a group to look at ways to curb ABA therapy costs. The group will be made up of parents, lawmakers, doctors, and ABA providers. Their job will be to create a report for the governor that includes 3 recommendations on controlling ABA costs, with pros and cons for each recommendation. Caps like the ones in the proposal would see Melody's ABA therapy ending when she's 15, transitioning her to another kind of care. For Morgan Herron, that's a concern, knowing how well her daughter does right now.
There's still so many transitions that these kids will go through in life that, they may need help. And if that 3-year cap is on there, then we just won't have that.
That working group looking at ABA will have to come up with those recommendations for the governor by this November. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Emily, thank you. You can catch all the big stories making headlines at the State House by watching Crossroad Politics. It airs at 10 o'clock every Sunday morning. It's also on demand anytime at WTHR Plus.